So here we are at Broad Street basin. Pretty cool place. There was actually a riot here in 1850 between two rival train companies. I believe it was the Birmingham and Shropshire Railway, which went on to become the Great Western, and then some London train company. And the Birmingham train company were trying to load their canal boats, their barges. Oh, the dogs wandered off. And they were trying to load their barges from the train onto the barges to head it on down to Birmingham, and this London company were basically blockading them. And eventually the mayor had to come down and put a stop to it all, you know. So yeah, that's fair. Come on, honey. And he says it was actually filled in the 1970s, but whether it was filled in and then dug back out again, or whether it was only filled in to a degree, you know, maybe it was bigger. I'm assuming it probably was bigger back in the day. It probably covered this whole area, I would have thought, because there would have been a lot of stuff going on down here. There would have been trains pulling up on either side, and yeah, there would have been things getting lifted on, lifted off. There would have been ironworks and all sorts, collieries. But yeah, this little black stud here, BCN. So that says that this kind of is the BCN canal network, which is very interesting. And then behind me you can see Wolverhampton top lock, number one of 21. So it's a decent walk, guys. If you'd like me to do it with you, let me know in the comments and I'll do it with you. And then another thing of note is these lot cottages you can see behind me, built in the late 1800s. Some of the a lot of them have got knocked down. Through the years. So it's nice to see that Wolverhampton still has its lock cottages. So the lock keeper would have lived in here, and he would have operated the locks for the canal boaters. He would, and then there would have been a toll keeper as well, and he would have charged a toll for the use of the BCN. You all had to pay for it back then. We'll just quickly go under this little bridge here, and then I think I'll leave it there. But it's a good little lock, narrow lock. And then we go down this. So you've got, honey. He's always sniffing stuff, that dog. So this bridge here, we're about to go under, is actually original. There's, I think, 5 original bridges on this stretch of 21 locks, and this is one of them. So it's a nice 18th century bridge. That little white thing there, that denotes the deepest part of the canal. So when you're coming through your boat, you know that generally it's going to be the middle anyway, but sometimes they're slightly off centre. Yeah, so original bridge. So if you look closely, for example, if you see here, you can actually see where over years the ropes from the canals, because obviously the canals used to be pulled by horses, we all know. Honey, she always wants to go off towards the road, she does. I'll carry on with my video in a second. Honey, here, come on. She pooped herself then, metaphysically, obviously. Yeah, so Little Lanes Bridge, which is this one. As I was saying, you can see where the rope marks. Here, look, you can see where the ropes are actually gouged out. Indentations in the brickwork and the stone, which I think is really, really cool. And then I can see a number on there, 1440. This means this weighs nearly 1.5 ton. That lock door there does. So, and this is it. And another thing at note, this thing here, there would have been a gate attached to this back in the day to stop people from walking on the canal, because the only people that could use the canal were the boaters or the lock operators. So it wasn't like a public footpath like it is now. Yeah, so I'm glad that's not the case anymore, because I do love walking down the canal. So yeah, this is it. We've just walked up to Broad Street Basin and lock number 1. There you go. Yeah, like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Well, you don't have to, but I just hope you've enjoyed watching these videos, and if you want to see more, please you know, drop a comment and say, you know, you'd like to see, because I wouldn't mind doing this whole walk, and giving you guys a bit of a history lesson as I'm going down, you know, because there is quite a lot of cool little history points down here as you walk down. There's and once you get into sort of lock 15, lock 16, it starts getting really, really countrified. And yeah, thanks for watching.